How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
So, you just started using LinkedIn Premium. Now what? Well, on your premium company page, you noticed around 7.5 times more page engagement and 5 times more page views. Well done. And now, new clients are messaging you. All because you're using LinkedIn Premium, which helps you get the business growth you want. Think big, small business. Think big. Start your free trial at linkedin.com/premium small business. That's linkedin.com/premium small business.
Llegaron los nuevos McCrispy Strips, listos para aventurarse en la mezcla de mayo ketchup, la barbecue que quedó en el fondo de la cajita, Hot Fudge Sundae y en la nueva Creamy Chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Los nuevos McCrispy Strips, ahora en McDonald's. Para pa pa pa.
Welcome back to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network, and you can follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/@RamsUpPodcast. I'm your host, Mark. I'll be joined often by my football guru, Ian, along with a bunch of other friends of the show on occasion. Let's get to it. Hey, what's going on, Ram fans? Mark from Rams Up here. What is the gist of this episode? Well, I'm going to walk through the Rams depth chart as shared by a very reliable third party, kind of bring things into focus. And one of the reasons I'm doing that is I've seen some discussions online by Ram fans who think there's some confusion at a few positions. So I'm going to try to sort through that. And then I'm going to reshare. I did this like very nerdy risk assessment of the Rams position group by position group. And I'm going to update that, share how I felt about them before the draft and how I feel about them now. And we'll get through some other news and notes. But before I get started, I wanted to, I think it was last episode, I shared that trivia question. I had been taking a look at the 2016 draft, and there were four players that ended up playing for the Rams drafted in the first 9. And I was doing a deep dive of sorts into Jimmy G's career. I'm not sure why. It's just what Ram fans do, right? You go down that rabbit hole. Next thing you know, you're looking at Jimmy G's college stats. And I looked at that 2014 draft. And the first thing about the 2014 draft, not a very good quarterback draft. Jimmy G and Derek Carr were the two guys that maybe panned out somewhat. Teddy Bridgewater. But as I was looking through that first round, it hit me that there were 7 guys in that first round that ended up playing for the Rams. And I'm going to save that for the end, give that some thought. 7 guys in the first round of the 2014 draft that spent time with the Rams. So moving on here, it is episode 755. And we've been talking about a lot of linebackers, and you think I'm going to talk about James Laurinaitis. Well, actually, I'm not, because I've already done that. I did that episode 655 or 555. I'm not even sure. This episode, I am going to talk about Brian Allen, the center out of Michigan State, and he was drafted by the Rams in the 4th round of the 2018 draft. And all these phone calls, these draft phone calls that Les Snead makes, a lot of them, to be quite honest with you, I think he needs to change up his game a little bit. A lot of them are very similar. But the call to Brian Allen is one I will never forget. If I remember this correctly, he was pretty much not stoked. He was in the middle of the woods, I think on a hunting trip, in a cold night in I think it was in the evening. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was the daytime. I'm not even sure. But we get the impression that he was hunched over a fire on a hunting trip in the woods, and hey, was kind of glad to be drafted, but on to his hunting trip. Pretty interesting. Brian Allen, I think that tells you a lot about Brian Allen, and he had a decent career for the Rams, got upended by injuries, though. He was a 2021 Pro Bowl alternate. That was the year he played in the Super Bowl. He was released before the 2024 draft and signed by the Browns. Never got on the field for them, battled additional injuries, and eventually retired fairly recently. But Brian Allen, he is our number 55 for the LA Rams. Now, hey, Jared Verse and Aaron Donald finally settled their differences on the YouTube channel. I'm sharing that photo that was circulating in social media. Man, these two guys are ripped, and hey, all in good fun. And I'm glad they sorted it out. And yeah, we kind of knew how this was going to turn out, didn't we? A great Ram of the previous era, syncing up with the next great Ram, a future Hall of Famer potentially as well. Aaron Donald, he'll be first ballot. We know that, and just a matter of checking our watch to see when he does get announced as a new Hall of Famer. Aaron Donald and Jared Verse, pretty cool stuff. Now, I wanted to go through a few things. A lot of this is stuff I've gathered across social media. The first thing is I saw someone propose, Frank Ragnow, the Lions, retired, great center. And so they have a shortage there along the front. And someone suggested the Rams trade Bo Limmer. And other Ram fans were saying, why are we trading our starting center? And people were responding, he's not our starting center anymore. And why are we helping out the Lions? So a few things, just get this straight, right? Bo Limmer right now is the second string center. I don't agree with it. Going into camp, you think he'd be listed at least as the starter, and Coleman Shelton, if the coaches think he's eventually going to win the job, fine. But just to hand it to Shelton outright seems a little bit messed up, but no need to trade Bo Limmer. He does provide some excellent depth, and if you're going to trade him, don't help out the Lions. Why would you do that? So kind of a crazy article in my opinion. And then there is a few articles popping up. I think it was all linking to the same article about the Rams X Factor, Poona Ford. And this is just an example of content creators stating the obvious. We know what the Rams issue was last year. It was run defense, and that's why they brought in Poona Ford. And we've known that as Ram fans for quite a while. Let's move on. Now, Konate Mumpfield, I presented the fact that in my roster breakdown the other day that he'd be battling Xavier Smith and Britton Covey for a roster spot potentially. And what I'm hearing out of camp is maybe I'm underestimating him. He is making a name for himself, and one observer said that he has a chance to break into that top four, maybe compete with Jordan Whittington and Tutu Atwell for playing time. I'll believe it when I see it, but nonetheless, maybe Mumpfield is very close to being a lock on this roster, or is it too early to say that? Probably too early. Braden Fisk's rehab is going well. That's good to see. And then I saw another article that kind of banged on the Rams, this assessment. They called it the triplet assessment on defense. Who's your best pass rusher? Who's your best inside linebacker? And who's your best safety? And the point they made, or they're talking about Jared Verse, Omar Speights, and Cam Kinchens. So those are the three players they identified for the Rams triplet. Now, Jared Verse probably is the Rams' best pass rusher, but there were three guys on the team last year that had more sacks than him. Omar Speights, an undrafted rookie, still getting his feet wet. I understand him not being assessed very highly. And then Cam Kinchens, our safety group, bunch of guys that, I don't know who our best safety is, to be honest with you. If you want to throw Quentin Lake back there, but technically, and we'll get into that when I start talking about this, the depth chart that I'm going to share here in a minute. The first problem is I think that's a poor way to assess the state of a defense by looking at this triplet of pass rushers, inside linebackers, and safeties. Some would argue that inside linebacker and safety are two of the lesser important positions, especially in the Rams defense. But, I may go with, a pass rusher, outside pass rusher, inside run defender, and maybe cornerback. Now, the Rams still may not grade out very well. They had the Rams rated 23rd in the league for this triplet and the worst in the NFC West. But take that with a grain of salt. I don't think it's really that meaningful, in my opinion. Now, I wanted to look at, when I look at the Rams schedule, I always break it up into pieces. And that's what I did here, sharing on the YouTube channel, the first 4 games of each NFC West team. And there's some interesting things coming out of these games. The Rams, Texans at Titans, Eagles at Jags. And then the 49ers, they get the Seahawks at the Saints, the Panthers, and then at the 49ers. Seahawks, 49ers at Steelers, Saints at Cardinals. So much easier to follow along on the YouTube channel. So I'm sorry if you're audio only. And then the Cardinals at the Saints, the Panthers, the 49ers, and the Seahawks. And a couple things jumped out at me. All the other 3 NFC West teams will have played 2 divisional games by the end of week 4, while the Rams will have not played any. And the other thing that jumped out at me was the Rams are the only team playing a playoff team from last year. And in fact, the Rams played 2, the Texans and the Eagles. Now, what does that tell me? That tells me that the Rams, to get out of the gate 4-0 might be asking too much. We can ask for it though, I guess. But there's a good chance they will not be in first place after week 4. I think, but then again, these 3 teams, the 49ers, Seahawks, and Cardinals, are all going to be pecking away at each other. So most of them will have at least 1 loss, I think. But just a note, the Rams will be in a good position after week 4 if they're 3-1, and they still have 6 divisional games to play. So they can, they're in control of their own destiny. It's kind of odd to say that after 4 weeks, but it's true. Whereas if one of these 49ers, Seahawks, Cardinals, if one of them go 0-2 in the division, they're going to be in a hole very early on. And a couple of coaches could be on the hot seat there if that happens.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Hey, business owners, we know you know the importance of maximizing every dollar. With the Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business American Express card, you can make your expenses work just as hard as you. From afternoon coffee runs to stocking office supplies and even team dinners, you can earn miles on all your business expenses. Plus, you can earn 110,000 bonus miles for a limited time through July 16th. The Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business Card. If you travel, you know. Minimum spending requirements and terms apply. Offer ends 7/16/25.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
So, moving on here, I'm going to go to the offensive depth chart, and this is pulled from Our Lads, sharing it on the YouTube channel. I'm not going to walk through it entirely on the for those listening on the podcast, but I think Our Lads is the most accurate, and the highlights here. They have the 5 backup offensive linemen as Quisenberry, Dedich, Limmer, Leviston, and McClendon, and those very well could be the 10. Willie Lampkin, he could edge his way in there, I suppose. I'm not presenting this as the final depth chart, just how it's shaken out right now. Now they include I included the wide receiver 3, Atwell, Xavier Smith, and Covey, while Mumpfield they have listed as the backup to Nakua as wide receiver 2. So that's how they shake it out. No real surprises here. Stetson Bennett on the roster. Maybe he isn't. 10 offensive linemen, probably not. But when we get to the defensive depth chart, what you're going to find is, we're up to 54 players, and that's going to be a problem, right? 54 players after special teams, 57. So you're going to have some guys you're going to have to cut, obviously. On the defensive depth chart, is there a real surprise here? I think, as I've stated, you're going to have Murchison and Deshaun Johnson battling for the backup. They have them listed as backups to Fisk at defensive end. Ford and Davis as the nose tackles. Turner and Hamilton as the defensive tackles. Now they have Troy Reeder as a starting left inside linebacker. Don't yell at me. I'm just the messenger here. Now someone on the YouTube channel predicted that the starters would be Landman and Spates on opening day. And then by week 4 or 5, Paul has broken in as the starter. But the problem is right now they have Paul backing up Spates. So I don't know how I feel about that. I'll have to get maybe talk to Ian about his thoughts on how these linebackers will be used, who will be paired up. There will be a lot of downs where there's only one linebacker, obviously. And in those cases, do you want a coverage linebacker, your one man in the middle to help against the unexpected run? Yeah, I don't know. Well, a lot of time to figure all that out. And then at nickel back, they had Quentin Lake as the starter and Josh Wallace as the backup. And there's a lot to figure out here, just sharing what Our Lads is proposing right now. And Tanner Engel as the backup to Cam Kinchins at free safety. And Curl and McCullough are the strong safeties. So Engel on this final roster, not quite sure about that. So yeah, just a snapshot of the defensive depth chart. Now, I wanted to share this risk assessment, I called it. Nerding out on you here, sorry. And this is how I felt about the offense pre-draft and pre-free agency. At the quarterback position, I thought we were all green. So here what we're saying here on the YouTube channel. Green is we're good. Yellow, a little concern. And red is warning. Alarm bells going off. We better do something. And at quarterback, I felt we needed to find a reliable backup. And the next great thing, this was when Jimmy G hadn't been signed yet. Probably should have had that yellow. But, Stafford, and maybe Stafford alone is enough to make this green. The running back situation, I called it green, although I thought it would be nice to add a speedster in the draft. And then offensive line, this was when Alaric hadn't been re-signed yet, who was our left tackle. And it goes a lot deeper than that, actually. And tight end, I said it would be nice to add a great rookie. Hey, pat myself on the back there. And then the wide receiver issues. No Cooper Kupp, no Devontae Adams. What are we going to do there? So short-term and long-term concerns. And how do I feel about that today? I feel a lot of green on the screen here. Quarterback, we probably still need to find our next great quarterback. When do we do that? When should we be concerned? The running back, I feel we're solid. It appeared to be 4 deep, and Jarquez Hunter added that speed that I was asking for. Offensive line, the only group on offense that I call yellow. I'm just not convinced our depth is acceptable. especially at the tackle positions with McClendon and Quisenberry apparently. And the tight end group, well-rounded group with a second-round rookie that is already flashing. And then wide receiver, suddenly a strength again with Devontae Adams. And I really like what Mumfield's showing. Jordan Whittington is going to make some noise this year. I feel very strongly about that. And how did I feel about the defense a couple months ago? Well, interior defensive line. Hey, this is, might sound like a genius here, but every single Ram fan I know would have said the same thing. We need a big body and rotational help to slow down the run. Outside linebacker, I thought we were okay. And then linebacker, meaning inside linebacker, we needed to upgrade and add some depth. So that was solid red. And cornerback, what I've been saying all along, and I don't think this has changed, we need a solid CB1. I called it yellow, though, because we do have a lot of guys with experience. And, guys that are, Darius Williams was, I don't think, 100% early in the year. Kobe Durant seemed to be getting better every week. And we added Emmanuel Forbes at the end of the year. So, I called it yellow. And then the safety group, I called it green, although it'd be nice to add a veteran or a rookie backup. How do I feel about it today? How do I feel about it here on June 7th? I feel like the interior defensive line, we added the veteran and we added young talent, Poona Ford and Ty Hamilton. So that's green. Outside linebacker, we improved a group that was already solid, adding Josiah Stewart. We expect Josiah Stewart or Brennan Jackson or both of them to have an impact of some magnitude. And the linebacker group, still not a strength, but we did improve it, adding Poop Hall and Nate Landman. Again, no future Pro Bowlers here. Well, Poop Hall, maybe, who knows? But until we see it, I got this as a yellow risk assessment. And cornerback hasn't changed. Still need a solid CB1, in my opinion. Akilo and Darius are fine, but that's about all you can say about them. Akilo did make some big plays. And Kobe Durant, like I said, he making impact plays late in the year. I've liked that guy from day one, and he seems to be getting better every year. And then the safety group, no change. I still call it green, but we need to add a veteran or a rookie backup. And I think the veteran, well, we're not going to add a rookie. Well, maybe there's a undrafted, Varkarcel. I don't have his name in front of me. I'm probably butchering it. Maybe he'll step up and be that a good rookie backup, or they bring back John Johnson. I don't know what's going on with that, and we probably won't know for a while. So, as I said at the beginning here, that 2014 draft, seven guys from that draft ended up playing for the Rams in the first round draft picks ended up playing for the Rams. Now, two of them were drafted by the Rams. That was the year we drafted Greg Robinson, 2nd overall, and Aaron Donald, 13th overall. Did we get that backwards or what? And who else? Blake Bortles was the 3rd overall pick, and he came over to the Rams briefly. Sammy Watkins was the 4th overall pick, and he was with the Rams. Was it just one season? OBJ was the 12th overall pick. Man, guys that came in and helped us win a Super Bowl. How about that? And then the 20th overall pick was Brandon Cooks. And number 29 overall, Dominic Easley, who played for the Rams in that Super Bowl loss. So pretty.
This episode is brought to you by PetSmart. Stop by for Yappy Hour with your pet at PetSmart. Save $5 on walk-in grooming services like nail trims, ear cleaning, brushing, and more. No appointment needed every weekday from 2 to 6 p.m. And while you're there, Yappy Hour includes exclusive in-store deals like 25% off pet toys. Visit services.petsmart.com/grooming to learn more.
Incredible. I thought the 4 of the top 9 draft picks in 2016 was pretty amazing, all of them having played for the Rams at one time or another. 2014 draft, 7 of the first-round draft picks that year ended up playing for the Rams. So that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll be back early in the week, Ian and I, hopefully, and I'll be dropping pods and videos all week long out here from Rams Up. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.